Hi guys, I wasn't entirely sure that I was going to be doing a video for you this week because I've had a bit of a strange week, I guess, but I thought that I would try and share that with everyone. Last autumn I had said that I wanted to keep it real on my channel, and obviously I love my life and I, like most people, will always share the stuff when it's good because that's when you feel most inclined to film and to share what's going on. But I also want to show you when other things are going on and share a bit of that so that there's some balance and it's not an illusion of everything being perfect all the time just because I share beautiful views and the gorgeous scenery that I'm surrounded by and the great parts of my life. I'm going to move my rucksack that I've realised is just sitting in the back of the picture with somebody else's rubbish on it. If you saw my last video, you'll know I headed off-grid for a little bit to kind of work on some stuff, and I knew I had the feeling that I needed a little bit of away time to sort of process some stuff. And as usual with anything like this, you go off thinking, yeah, that's the thing I need to work on, that thing that I know is lingering there in the back of my head, that's the thing that's going to come up that I'm going to work on. And then when you kind of go deep into whatever kind of healing work you do with yourself, go deep, and then it's something else entirely that comes up that sometimes you don't even realise was an issue, and it's like, oh, I've got to deal with that first, okay. And that's kind of what happened when I was off grid and roaming around, and the time that I took then felt amazing. After I came back from sort of being off grid, I was feeling lighter. I cleared something that I didn't realise had been sitting with me for a few years, and I felt lighter, I felt a lot better, and I was headed off to do some more voluntary work at Lendrick Lodge, where I've volunteered a few times through the winter. And I was headed there and I felt lighter and really positive. And then I was volunteering over the weekend and something just kind of came up and hit me and felt like it kind of rammed into me. And it was something that I had gone off to try and work on recently, but I didn't expect it to come up like that. And it left me feeling quite delicate, and I was just very emotional for a few days. And I had a lovely invite to stay and to linger there because I wasn't really ready to face the world outside, and it was just the perfect timing. I'm usually only there if I'm volunteering and I'm working, and they didn't really need more helpers during the week, and I kind of needed time for me anyway. So just being able to stay was amazing. It's been the first time in a while that I've stayed still and haven't been moving every day. Through the winter, you know, I get condensation on the windows overnight because of the temperature changes and the wet weather and things. And other than if it's really windy, I tend to get damp windows. So I tend to move most days to make sure stuff's dried out, especially if it's wet during the day. And then as my heater wasn't working for most of the winter and it was quite windy a lot of the time, I didn't really realise until I stopped that it's been quite tiring. I wouldn't change it for anything. I've absolutely loved being in the van through the winter. I mean, I'll change it for a slightly bigger van next winter, will be good. But I didn't realise quite how tiring it had been. Towards the end of February, I started to feel it. I started to feel like this is a lot. There's just a huge focus on where am I going to get enough warm water to stay warm overnight, to heat enough food to keep myself warm overnight. And part of me loves that stuff because you don't get kind of wrapped up in all the day-to-day stuff that we have in our society that can be a lot. It's kind of amazing just to focus on survival stuff. It's a nice break for your brain. I mean, it's what our brains are kind of designed to do. So it's lovely to do, but it gets tiring. And I didn't really realise how much until I stopped this week. And I've been so lucky to be in this wonderful environment with people that, just the right people that have obviously also looked at themselves and have done self-development work and work to help other people. And it means they're the kind of people that, you know, they can be there when you need them and give you space when you need it. And there doesn't have to be much discussion to kind of know when people need that. There's no judgment. You know, if you're in tears, there's no judgment. If you're, you know, just all over the place one day, there's none of that judgment with people like that. And it's also been beautiful weather. So I didn't move Silver for at least 4 days. I didn't drive anywhere, which is very unusual. I didn't actually get restless. Usually if I stop somewhere for a few days, or more than a couple of days, I get restless, and I've been there almost a week. And I just ventured out this morning. It's just been perfect. It's been perfect because the weather's meant no condensation on my windows in the morning, so I haven't needed to like worry about drying Silver out, and it's really given me space to work through this stuff that's come up for me, and try and kind of let that happen naturally and not just rush back into, you know, busy life, or rush back into my brain being very distracted thinking hot water and food. And I mean, the weather's lovely and warm at the moment. I'm sat with like super thin top on, which is amazing, and if I had a better vest top on underneath, I'd probably take this off. But the evenings are still cold and the nights are still cold. Using a hot water bottle overnight still. So yeah, just I feel so grateful that I've found this place where, well, one of the owners, when I was talking to her the other day, she said, you have found your community. And she was talking about how we don't have that anymore. And it's something that we've, you know, had as human beings in the past and in modern life, certainly probably in Western cultures. It's not something that everyone has. Some people have it. Depends on your family structure or the friends you surround yourself with, your chosen family. But a lot of us don't. And I absolutely love being on my own. I love roaming on my own. I love living alone. But I kind of may have not quite realised the extent to which finding a community can bring such comfort, and knowing that there's that sort of safe space when you need it, with like-minded people that, you know, there's support. It's been a very strange few days, a very emotional few days, but also so beautiful because I've had exactly what I needed when I needed it, and it was just there. And that all really came about by a chance meeting this time last year, with the owner. So it's just kind of amazing when things line up like that. I didn't even know at that time that, you know, I would need the place so much later on. I'm really hoping when I watch this back to edit it, it's going to make some kind of sense and be usable, because there's no time for me to refilm, and I don't think I could anyway. Yeah, very strange week, and I have come out of it feeling incredibly grateful for some of the friends that I've made in the last like sort of 6 months at that place, and some of them more recently. The people that work, live, volunteer there are amazing people, and it's just wonderful to be kind of surrounded by the energy that I've needed from people, and also for me to be able to reach out when I've needed a bit of help and support is something that I've never been very good at. I have tried it a few times in my life. It hasn't always gone well, and I've mostly kept things to myself. There are some sort of friends and family members I will reach out to, but not always. And it was just an amazing sort of lineup of timings that, although I was in a difficult place, the support was there, and I could, you know, reach out for a hug, or just to be able to sit beside somebody and have some company for a change. And to have, you know, I've been basically this week living off leftovers from the course that was running last weekend. leftover food, and it's been just such a pleasure to not worry about food, and to basically have what I need right there for me. I've said it already, but I feel so grateful for that, and yes, that's brought me to now. It's Thursday today. This is hopefully going in a video for tomorrow. We'll see how quickly I manage to edit it this evening, and then I'm actually going back for the weekend to do some more volunteering. I did definitely spend a few days where I just didn't really want to go out into the world. I felt very delicate, and like it was a safe place for me to be in as I went through things, and I just didn't really want to try and go out there and deal with things alone. I liked knowing there were people nearby, even if I was sat on my own. So it's been really nice to just kind of go out today. I still feel quite emotional. I feel very tired, which is kind of normal for me as stuff is shifting and releasing. Like, I tend to get quite drained. So it's kind of a very safe, comfortable thing knowing that I'm going back for the weekend, and I'll be busy volunteering. There's, you know, I work in the kitchen over the weekend, and it's quite busy, but with lovely people and a good energy, and again, lovely food that I won't have to think about, and hot water very quickly in the evening from a kettle to get back into the van and go to sleep. So yes, that's where I am right now. I'm not entirely sure what's coming up in the next couple of weeks, because I'm not sure where I'm headed next. I'm not really sure. I've been in a little bit of a limbo because I'm trying to find the right van. I've kind of set aside time where I haven't got too much other stuff going on so that I can work on a new van, but I haven't found the van yet. So I'm in a bit of a limbo where I'm not exactly sure of my next steps and my direction. So I'm not sure what I'm going to bring you for the next couple of weeks. It very much just depends what happens and how long it takes me to kind of feel back to full energy and wanting to kind of do everything. So until then, so we'll just see what happens. I hope you stay tuned for whatever the next few weeks for me bring, and fingers crossed that I find the right van at the right price, and then I'll be bringing you some exciting van conversion videos. But until then, I hope everyone out there is doing okay. And in deciding to share this, I really thought, I've just been on a bit of a walk around a loch, and I thought if one person watching this knows that they're not alone when they're struggling with something, that there's other people out there, and that there's also people to reach out to. And if you ever reach out to somebody and you don't get a good response, don't let that put you off reaching out in the future, because it just wasn't the right person, or they weren't in the right space to be able to help you at the time. But never give up on that. So I hope that helps somebody at some point watching this. I did some filming a couple of weeks ago in Glenateeve, which is absolutely stunning. I have driven past the turning to it so many times over the last decade or something, and never actually taken that turning until a few weeks ago. And I just had perfect weather. The sun broke through the clouds and gave me gorgeous light, and I thought I would share that with you and leave you with some gorgeous bits of Scotland as usual. And I hope you've all enjoyed this video. It feels weird saying enjoy for the stuff I've been talking about, but I hope it's, I don't know, been interesting or something, and I'll be back soon. spring also just seems to have like appeared over the equinox last weekend, with brilliant weather, and I know it will probably drop back into winter at some point in April before it is actually summer, but it's just been amazing. The bumblebees came out, I've seen butterflies, I've seen frogs, there's beetles everywhere. I saw a water beetle in a river the other day. It's just like, I love it. I love everything coming to life. It's just awesome. So if you don't live out in the woods most of the time like I do, and outside, go check out spring. It's happening outside.